And I think that I was single for so long because I was unhealthy, dating unhealthy people.
For years that I've known you, you were a single woman.
Yeah, I really didn't I really didn't have like a lot of like stable relationships. Like I had one like longish relationship for like a year, 2012 to 2013, but for the most part it was straight young MC looking for love in all the wrong places. You know what I mean? And I was in all the wrong places. Like hip hop is not the place to look for love.
You were trying to find love though in those points, or were you just
Yes, I've always been trying to find love. My name literally means she who is loved.
Gotcha.
Like I've always been a very affectionate, very like partner driven, monogamous type of person. And I've always just wanted to be able to show up for somebody who's like, I want to show up for you back, right? But then in that, you start to realize that like there's codependency that's showing up in the wrong way, et cetera, et cetera. So like you're thinking you're ready, not realizing that you're actually not ready because you have unresolved trauma. But the person I'm with was my college boyfriend. We were together. He's the second person I ever slept with in my life. Like he was my first boyfriend in college. We were together during a very poignant year of my life, my second year of school. And because that was the year I had left the acting conservatory and was trying to figure out what my next path was going to be. That was the year I had to choose like to leave the conservatory and like create my own major. And we just lived like a lot of life in a year, right? Like he came to Orlando for Christmas and I went to his family reunion and like, we just became very intertwined. And then he transferred to Fisk. And so we lost touch. And then he came back to New York after and we stayed in touch and we were friends for years. He got married. He was in the Navy. Like, he had a whole life. Then we fell out again. And then one day I just texted him and asked him, what's your Instagram? And then by the next morning we were together.
Gotcha.
And so we've been together ever since. It's really dope being with someone who makes decisions based on making their life better, not just on making themselves feel better.
Okay.
Because when you're with the person that's just focused on making themselves feel better, they're going to run away from uncomfortable situations. They're going to run away from self-awareness. They're going to run away from self-work. And those are all the things that are going to make a relationship function. We are so accustomed as a society to dysfunction in our relationships. We say things like, every relationship has arguments. We say things like, every relationship has its toxic points. It doesn't have to be that way. And when you start to really challenge yourself to not be the person doing that, you want to be with somebody who is also challenging themselves to not be the person doing that. And so for us, it's been a journey, just like, because you get back together and you take it for granted that you knew each other before, but y'all are different. Like, you're grown, so you have to go through a whole other space. But what I love about Devon is that he really sees me, but he also really sees himself in the full self. Okay. He allows himself to be emotional, and doesn't consider that illogical. And then he allows himself to try new methods that, he challenges himself to say like, well, this may have been working for years, but like I was also like in a whole different part of my life. But he's the best. He's my favorite. I love him.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think a lot of people, when they were able to see that chapter of your life kind of unfold, I think you represent, and I think you should be aware that you represent, a certain group of women, and particularly Black women, who are successful, driven, and ultimately, I think statistics-wise, it's not in their favor to find, love and happiness sometimes.
People tell me all the time, like, seeing this happen for you gives me so much hope. But I also want to say, like, I've had to do so much of my own work on myself. And I feel like a lot of my peers, we were coming from a place of like, I'm showing up as me and that's just it. And you need to receive that as what it is. And that's how men are showing up as well. And it's like, if both of y'all are showing up that way, you should really just be by yourselves, because you're not going to get to where you want to go with each other being who you were as individuals by yourselves. Like, there's going to have to be shifts. There's going to have to be, and I don't want to use the word compromise because that has like a negative connotation, but I feel like it's consensus.
Yeah.
There has to be a meeting of the minds to say, like, what do we need to change about ourselves that makes us better together?
Make this work. So why do you specifically think that you were single, and like, as you reflect, why do you think you were single for all those years?
I think I was single for all those years because I was always attracted to men who were takers. And I was always selling myself short for what made me valuable in a relationship. So I was going into relationships thinking that, like, my talent was the thing that was most valuable, or my ability to be resourceful is most valuable. Like, and ultimately it's like you're peddling your wares, you know. But because I wasn't fully grounded in because I wasn't fully grounded in what I love about myself, I'm not really showing up to somebody for them to love me for that.
Right.
And, you know, then you have like all these resentments and like these little things that start popping up that you don't even know you have. I mean, I remember dating somebody and having this like wild reaction to a situation, and in the moment of the reaction being like, why the fuck are you reacting like this? You know, but like I couldn't control my feelings. And that happened a few times in that relationship. And it was very eye-opening for me because he brought something out of me. It was a very toxic relationship. It was extremely toxic, and like we had a trauma bond. And after that relationship, though, is when I really started to check myself and be like, what are you bringing to these spaces in your trauma that's also helping to tap into their trauma and keep this trauma thing going? And that's when you find out, like, oh shit, I'm trash too. It's crazy.
Do you think that was connected to the relationship and how your father was in and out?
Of course. If you have a parent leave early, you either gonna be a narcissist or a codependent. That's basically what it seems like to me. Like, from what I've just in my, like, somebody's watching with a PhD right now, like, that is absolutely incorrect.
They're gonna be in the comments.
But I'm just saying, like, from being in the world and dating, and like with my friends and the people that come to my DMs, etc., like, it just feels like that's what you're gonna get. Like, you're either gonna, and there's a scale for both of those things. But we are such an unhealthy society. And I think that I was single for so long because I was unhealthy dating unhealthy people.